Welcome to Elevink's first episode of our second season. These sessions were created to spark action and connect Elevink's ecosystem. We are joined by a live audience and create an opportunity to ask questions to the expert joining us. If you're listening to this on a recording or Spotify or as a podcast, we wanted to let you know that if you join live, you'll be able to hear of real-time opportunities that are presented to us from our partners as well as that we identify for you. We finalize by spending time networking and offering a giveaway. The topics of today's episode is getting into the right mindset. We felt that this was a very important topic, especially as we start a new year. For today's session, we're honored to welcome an expert in this topic, Monica Ditta, licensed marriage and family therapist. Monica was born in the border town of Tijuana. This is a town between Mexico and the United States. After a rocky 18-year marriage and 3 kids, at 45 years of age, she left the school of hard knocks, got a divorce, and enrolled in a bachelor's program in psychology. In 2015, she remarried and moved to California, where she completed a master's degree in couples and family therapy. During the 2020 pandemic, she started a YouTube channel featuring free videos for desperate parents who need to gain communication skills with their children. For the last 2 years, she has been coaching adults to help them work through professional, relationship, and life situations, and has successfully walked the path to better mental health with over 100 women in different life stages by helping them assess their current situation and choosing the best path by tapping into motivation and lifestyle balance. She currently works at a mental health agency serving the Latino population. Monica, you've been with us since day one, since we started Elevink, and I am so glad that you accepted to be our subject matter expert of today's night. So tell us a little bit about yourself for those people who may be listening to this recording and may not have been part of Elevink's sessions in the past. Tell us a little bit about you. How did you chose your career, and a little bit more about what motivated you to follow this path?
Well, Claudia, it's such a privilege and an honor to be here at Elevink. Nothing makes me happier than to watch you guys grow. And like you said, I've been here from the beginning, and I'm very passionate about helping people and empowering people and helping them be their absolute best. Maybe that comes from a point where I didn't have that. When I was struggling in my relationships. I was struggling at my job. I was not satisfied with what I was doing, and I felt lost. And I didn't know where to turn or how to help myself turn my life around until I decided at 45 years old to go to college and study psychology. And a great, big, beautiful door opened for me. And I have been able to heal most of my trauma. I have been able to empower myself. I have been able to do what I love and to get paid for it, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know about that. You know what that feels like.
Yes. Well, thank you, because your passion is infectious and you really get us into that mood. And so let's talk about the topic of today. What is mindset and why is it important? And I wanted to start with that very simple question because I don't want to make any assumptions that people know what a mindset is. And I wanted to hear it from you. So tell us about what is mindset and why is it important?
Well, a mindset is the difference between thriving in life and just surviving, just being alive. There's a difference. And you can tell in people's faces when they are absolutely thriving, when they love what they do, they have a great relationship with their loved ones, and they feel good from the inside out. And when they're just being dragged along through life, and choices are made for them sometimes because they don't have that empowerment to find their voice and to, create a different mindset. Now, a mindset in itself, it's a set of values and beliefs that we mostly, for the most part, we learn it when we're children from our families and from our peers. Now, this mindset is going to determine how you think, how you decide things, how you approach your future, how you behave in certain social situations, in your jobs, and it's also a mindset can be full of limiting beliefs. Okay. A limiting belief is a very dangerous thing because it will sabotage any good intention at the first sight of a setback. Okay. So let me give you an example. If when you were in high school, you had this teacher that you loved and admired, and that teacher told you that your work is sloppy, that you're lazy and easily distracted, that can become a label that you put on yourself, and it can become part of your personality. If you keep thinking about it and repeating it to yourself, well, I'm lazy and I'm easily distracted and I don't know. And that was when you were in high school. You have now worked so hard to be focused and become a hard worker. But if in the back of your mind, you still believe, you still have that limiting belief, somebody once told you that you were lazy and easily distracted, it's like a boomerang. Okay, it will drag you back. And that is your true mindset, that you are lazy and that you are easily distracted. So at the minimum sight of a setback, something didn't go the way you wanted, the belief is holding you back and you come back to it. And if you take anything away from, this whole conversation we're going to have, write this down. The belief that's holding you back is no truer than the belief that spurts you into action. So if you believe that you are lazy and that you are easily distracted, it takes the same effort to believe that you are super hardworking and super focused. It takes the same amount of energy to believe either one. So you have to choose what you believe in and be very careful what you believe in.
Well, that was a great example. And I guess it reminds us that we are all impacted by our family, right? The way we were brought up. There is in the childhood memories of those that we encounter, whether that was our caregivers, whether it's our teachers, we are being either positively or potentially negatively impacted by their comments and the way that they were brought up. But it's really up to us now as adults, as professionals, to turn that around and to learn how to cope and how to change our mindset for the best of ourselves, and to bring out and become those thriving individuals that we're all aiming to do. So that was a good way to start that conversation. So are there different types of mindsets?
Yes, there are. There's mainly 3 types of mindset, and I'm going to explain and give an example to each of these. And I want you to listen, you guys out there that are listening, and try and figure out which one kind of sounds familiar to you. And you say, well, yeah, that kind of sounds a little bit like me. You have to be very mindful and have a lot of insight to be able to determine. So the first one is the abundance mindset. This is the idea of abundance versus scarcity. And it has nothing to do with being rich or being poor or spending money or not spending money, but it's that idea, that fear of missing out almost, that idea that you may have learned from your parent that money is very difficult to get and you have to work really, really hard and you have to sacrifice everything, leisure time, family, relationships. You have to sacrifice it in order to get abundance of money. versus other families that say, well, money is important, but family is more important. You can't put a price on time. Money comes easily. If you lose your job, you'll get another one. It's not a big deal. It's not a big problem. We'll survive. And it's when you're young, you're very impressionable, and these things get ingrained in your mind. And you walk around through life thinking that there's not going to be enough, that there's not going to be abundance, for everyone. I want to give you a really good example. I met this lady before 2020. And when the pandemic started in March of 2020, she lost her job, and eventually her car got repossessed. And I know that it was a car that she really liked. It was a Fiat. And when she was telling me about it, I felt so bad. I had like a lump in my throat, and I said, I'm so sorry, this happened to you. And I wish I could help you. And she was like, no, it's fine. I'll get another one. I'll probably even get a better one. And there was this assurance about her, this security, that she expected a new car, a better car, a wonderful car, and it didn't really bother her. Then later on in the year, she got a new job. She got a better job than the one she had. It paid better, so she was able to get a better car. So in this abundance mindset, she was able to focus and create the opportunity for abundance rather than being angry or bitter over circumstances that she could not change anyway. So she chose her battle. She wasn't going to get mad about the repo and the pandemic and all that. She focused, instead of focusing on the negative, she turned around and just focused her attention on getting a new job. And the new job brought itself, a new car. So that is the abundance mindset. You focus on the opportunities that you have rather than the lack of. The second one is the positive mindset. This is for people who look for solutions rather than focusing on the problem, talking about the problem, taking the problem apart. They have a positive mindset, and this means they do these four things. They know their value in the world. They truly know how valuable they are. They model excellence. And we've heard, if you're in social media, you've heard once or twice about a very young McDonald's employee maybe sitting with a 90-year-old lady who comes into breakfast every day by herself, and everybody's so uplifted by their example, or they pay for someone's meal when they see they can't. These people are constantly modeling excellence because their positive mindset is everything needs to be good for me, for you, for everybody. That's very positive. They also develop an inner success compass. And I'm going to tell you what that is, how you can do one. You can follow this exercise along and write it down. I'm going to try not to speak very fast. To develop an inner success comeback, you have to ask yourself these 3 words and write down your answers. Okay, question number 1. What does true success mean to me in my life? What does true success mean to me in my life? Okay. Question number 2. What has to happen for me to be and feel successful? For some people, it's going to be having money. For some people, it's going to be getting a degree. For some people, it's going to be getting married, having children. What has to happen for you to be and feel successful? Question number 3. What are the consequences to you and your loved ones of holding this meaning of success? What are the consequences to you and your loved ones of holding this meaning of success? And when you're done answering those questions, you are going to make one long sentence with these three answers. And it can sound something like this. I have mine here written down. And I look at it every now and then when I need kind of like a refresher, like, what am I doing with my life? And I go back to my inner success compass. And mine sounds like this. Success for me is setting and achieving personal goals that stretch me, both at home and at work. I measure my success by asking for feedback and by recognizing the inner satisfaction I get for a job well done. So it's not going to look the same for everybody. It's not going to look or sound the same, but that's a guide, that's a compass that you can use. And the last thing that people with positive mindsets do is they celebrate their private small victories. Now it's going to look different for everybody. Maybe getting an A is a small victory for someone. Maybe just getting a C passing grade is a good enough victory, and it deserves to be celebrated. You need to ask yourself, what do I deserve? And when you get it, you need to celebrate it. Nobody else is going to do it for you. I mean, maybe your family and your friends, but it's very important that you yourself are aware that you deserve that praise coming from you, the most important person. And finally, there's the growth versus the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset means that you believe that you have a knack or that you're really good, you were born with a talent, and there's no need to change, improve, learn, or perfect it. And I'll give you a silly example, but if you're familiar with this show, you're going to be like, yes, I get it. So if you've ever heard of the show Kitchen Nightmares, this chef, Gordon Ramsay, comes into these restaurants and has the experience of what they're doing, and then suggests a bunch of changes and stuff that they need to learn, that they need to grow. And usually he's met with resistance, either by the owner or the main chef. And they use words, sentences like, we've been doing this for 20 years. We don't need to change it. It's always worked. Well, if it's always worked, why is your restaurant struggling? And why is Gordon Ramsay in your restaurant? Something needs to change. Ramsay comes in with the growth mindset. He knows that in order to remain relevant, you need to expand on your skills, learn new techniques, and grow. So, I mean, I know I'm talking about a restaurant, but in your personal life, what does it mean in a personal life? It may be something like going to therapy, getting coaching sessions, going to the gym, learning a new software, learning a new language, feeding your brain, basically. You don't want it to stagnate. And we get into these ruts where we know we're good at what we do and we're good at our job and we have this position. But what about growth? What about a better position? What about helping more people? What about expanding at something that you're already good at, right? And well, besides, when you look at someone who is truly, truly successful, a person who absolutely loves what they do and make a comfortable living at it, there is a lot of training, preparation, and rehearsal behind it. It's not just like people show up and are excellent at what they do. There is a lot of preparation, and there should always be a lot of growth and a lot of learning, right? Mindset can and should change your life for the better. So those are the three main mindsets that are out there.
And I'll ask the audience to put any questions that they have on the chat, but wow, I love how you help us walk through the scenarios and that you gave us actionable items that we can take on, right? This inner success compass. And not only, sharing with us the questions that we need to think about and answer, but then the end result of how that sentence sounds and what it means for every one of us, right? Because this is an opportunity to evaluate and to be very transparent with our own selves and truthful. So thank you for that. And the other part that you mentioned was about growth. And sometimes when we are on those stretch assignments, when we are in that growing mode, when we're doing something that we are not necessarily comfortable doing, the mindset, it's an extremely important asset to have, because our other side may be sabotaging us with like, well, maybe you should have stayed on that other role, or maybe you're not good enough for this new promotion, or maybe you should have, right? And it's the other part, that mindset, that is going to help us carry us through that period of time until, again, we start to feel comfortable and we realize how much we're worth, how much, well prepared we were. We just needed to be able to experience it. So I think that if this is a great reminder for everyone, regardless of whether it's someone that is finishing school, someone that is starting a new job, or someone who is very seasoned, thinking about, where do we see ourselves? Do we see ourselves in that fixed mindset, or are we ready to take on the next step? And many of the things that you mentioned are very aligned with Elevink's philosophy, right? Of elevating people, helping professionals achieve their career goals, and also to create the opportunities for our own selves, not to hope to be tapped into the shoulder and offer an opportunity, where sometimes that happens and that's great, but many times we are the ones that have to initiate. We are the ones that have to knock that door. We are the ones that have to look for that opportunity. And the example that you brought with the lady who trusted and had faith and reassurance that things were going to turn into the better, it's a clear realization of how, in a situation like in the one that she was, she could still see all the positive that will come in the future. Any final thoughts? It doesn't seem like we have questions in the chat, but any final thoughts from you of how you would like to close out this section?
Well, I want everybody to be very mindful that a mindset can change your life for the better, for the worse. Okay, it depends on the beliefs that you hold true. It can sabotage your life, your career, your relationships, and in the worst case scenario, it can spiral you into a life of depression because of limiting beliefs. By being mindful of what you believe about yourself, about your body, about love and relationships, about money, by being mindful of that and asking yourself the question over and over again, what do I deserve? What do I want? If you take away something from this podcast today, please let it be that. What do I deserve? And do I need to change my mindset to achieve it? It's very easy to do. You go to therapy, you go to coaching, you be mindful, you listen to what you're saying to other people, and then you kind of reflect on how people react to you. It's like you said in the beginning, a good mindset is infectious and it spreads. So spread that positivity, spread that intention, and go out there and get whatever it is that you want out of life. You can do it. I have faith that everybody can do it. You should have faith in yourself too.
Thank you, Monica. If someone wants to, get to know you better, if they want to follow you, do you have any social media that you want to share with the audience?
Yes, you can search for me on YouTube, Monica Ditta, Ditta. It's in Spanish. It's a channel in Spanish for all the Spanish speakers. I'm very close to launching a TikTok series on coaching in English for adults. And you can also follow me on Facebook under Psicóloga Monica Ditta. I felt that there was a lack of people for the Latino community than for the English speakers, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do that in the very near future. So yes, please follow me.
Well, and Elevink is going to do the reverse. We are starting to plan our podcast season in Spanish for the very same reason. I mean, the majority of the people that we support is the Hispanic community, the Latino population, and we feel that providing content in Spanish is just as important. So we might have you back, but we will just do it in Spanish. So thank you so much for joining us. great, beginning of the year for everyone, and let's make 2022 our best year ever.
Let's do it. Thank you, Elevink, for the opportunity. I love being here. Thank you.